I'm Mama Mita, and today I have a short little video for you about bread making machines. Now, the making machine that I have is a Sunbeam 5833. It was made back in 1999. Whoa, that's a long time ago. But I haven't had it that long. I've had it a few years. I got it back, probably like say maybe 5 years ago, and it's been a great little machine. I paid at the time $14.99 from Value Village, and then of course I used my coupon, so I got it less. But this is a great machine, and the reason why I like this machine is because I can go online, and if I was to have any problems, just moving this camera, sorry about that, if I was to have any problems with the machine, I can pretty much troubleshoot it online. But I haven't had any problems with it. It's been a great machine. And the other thing is that I have arthritis in my hands, and so for me to knead bread, it would be really difficult. I would have a lot of pain in my hands. So I like this. It's basically just pull out my little bucket, put my ingredients in it, dump it, and pretty much make sure that all the dough goes to the center of the blade. And then shut my lid down once it's finished kneading and let it go. And it's just great. Within 58 minutes, I have a loaf of bread. So, but this is how it is. And you can see that it's in fairly good shape. I mean, look at that. And then it's got the little bucket that you can pull out. And it's got a little blade that you can use with or that you have to use with that. Now you want to make sure that you're very careful with this bucket because it's coated, and so it's like a Teflon thing. You don't want to be going in there and scratching around and digging around it. And when I put my ingredients in my bucket, I always do that outside the machine. I never put the bucket inside and put my ingredients in because you've got so many easy chances of it falling into the chamber, and you want to keep the chamber pretty clean. Now you can see that my chamber looks pretty good, and the reason being is because every time that I get a chance, I make sure that there's nothing down in that chamber that might make it nasty and stuff. So, and it's pretty old. It's like 20 years old, this machine. But it's a great little machine. Now, but 58 minutes and you've got a loaf of basic white bread. So, also, the gadgets that I like to use are, I usually make sure that I have the two little hand towels out, a bread knife, and then, of course, my cutting board to slice up my bread once it's finished. Then I have a temperature gauge to make sure that my water is warm enough so that my yeast will be active. And I use a spatula to make sure that I bring that all to the center, but you'll see that in my next video that shows you of how the process of just dumping into the bucket and working a little bit, then put the lid down and letting it go. Then I have a little brush if I want to brush some olive oil or butter or whatever. I don't usually use that too much. That's more for like leftover bread, if I have any leftover bread, to make croutons with. And I'll show you that later too when we do the bread. Then I have my little measuring cups or my little measuring spoons. And I have my measuring cups, which I do for water. Don't usually use that one. And then for putting my flour. And these stack, they're pretty good. I've had them for a really long time. They're by Progressive Measuring. You can find them online. And then I have these little containers here. The bigger one I use for storing my flour in. And I go through quite a bit of flour. I usually use probably, I'd say, an average of 5 pounds of flour a week. Sometimes more if I'm baking more. Then my sugar and my salt. And I keep those all in one little area of my cabinet, which is in here. All my bread making and my rice is all in this cabinet, and it's all very easy to stack a lot of stuff in there because these are square or rectangular. The square and the rectangle seems like it works better for me than anything round, because the round takes up more space in the RV, and these you can just stack them and they're just great. Really, really nice. Now this is a Tupperware, and I use this as my bread box. And so when I finish baking my bread, then I put my bread in here and I leave it in here, and it'll last for a good 4 days. And that's quite a while if, you know, like if you are only one person or maybe two people and you don't eat a lot of bread, but it doesn't usually last that much for us. But I've tested it and it'll last a good 4 days. Then you do whatever you want to after that with your bread left over. So that is pretty much it for what I need to be doing this today. And so I can't think of anything else